right, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Happy Monday, December 16th. Almost there. Morning, guys. Welcome to a new week, new opportunities, more money, hopefully. Hopefully, NVIDIA to wake up. Probably not. Morning, guys. Margin, 3D, Dino, Nomits, Ponzi, Closer, Robert, Britt, Bruce, Steven. Good morning, Steven. Good morning, Chef. Golf Nut, CJ. Good morning, Lance. Morning, everyone. Appreciate that, Kevin. All right. Turn on the sign. Yeah, sure is, Margin. Just an early birthday celebration. Morning, guys. Happy Monday. Don't forget to like, that's right. All right, guys. Well, welcome. 8:02. We'll wait a few minutes for everyone to jump in, but this morning, first thing to realize is the futures roll, the contract roll that we are getting. So we are now on the March contracts on TOS. If you just type in /ES or /NQ, it will be onto the March contracts. That's because it's the continuous contract. So new levels today. In terms of the structure, it's all the same, just new levels, right? In terms of where previous holds came in terms of not the levels, but where the actual candles are, it's all the same, just new levels to pay attention to. If you want to still use the December 2024 contracts, you can type in NQZ24 /NQZ24. I'll show you all that when we get into the charts, but today we're on the Marches. TOS has moved over to them, so that's why you see probably a big gap up on the March contracts. It's not actually a big gap up; it's just a rollover from the Z24 December contract. So that's that. That's the first thing to pay attention to. Also, same thing with the ES. Obviously, ES Z24, NQ Z24. That's the old contracts. That the December contracts. We are now on the Marches. Okay. They officially expire, I think, on Friday. So you'll get like a declining volume in the Z24 contract until Friday. But I just stay on the continuous and adjust for contract change. That's what I would recommend personally. I would move off of the Z24s and move on to the H25. All right. So that's that. First things first. Pretty busy economic week in terms of the economic calendar. And then we also have another semiconductor reporting earnings this week, and that is MU. You guys saw what happened on the semiconductor sector on the Broadcom earnings, which was monstrous. Broadcom earnings, which is very good for the semiconductor sector. And we see that SMH starting to sort of play out on our original idea. The 200 SMA long on the SMH, that idea that we've had, starting to look pretty interesting. Almost every semiconductor moving really nicely. TSM, MU, Broadcom moving very nicely. MRVL, another really nice one from Friday. There's a few that are underperforming, which is, of course, one that I'm in, which I have anticipated that? I don't know. Maybe I could have been smarter in anticipating NVIDIA not moving. I don't think I could have really predicted that, but my idea to long NVIDIA was to long the SMH and to be part of NVIDIA during that trade. So a little bit unfortunate right now, right? Sort of getting stuck in a shitter, which is NVIDIA. But the SMH idea is definitely playing out, which I do like. So we're going to have to sort of stay patient here, I still think. I will obviously go over all of that today. So it is what it is, right? Sometimes we get hit with some punches. We got to keep rolling. That's how trading is. So we'll go over the economic news. We'll go over the earnings. Let's get started on the levels. Here we go. Press that like button if you guys could as you join. Subscribe to the channel. We're getting there, man. We're getting there quicker than I expected. So I appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel. We're up to 93,500 subscribers. We're only about 6,500 away. So maybe a few more months until we get that 100K subscribers. I appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you guys subscribing. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the support. We're getting there. So here we go. Calendar first. Pretty heavy economic calendar. Today or this week. So today at 9:45 we have manufacturing PMI and services PMI. So let's be aware of that today at 9:45, 15 minutes after open. Let's just make sure we have an idea that is coming out. Make sure we are cautious with our positions because of that potential volatility. Tomorrow, 8:30, we have retail sales. So retail sales tomorrow morning. If you swing trade anything overnight today, just know you are coming into retail sales tomorrow morning. Coming into Wednesday, we do have the FOMC statement. We have the FOMC, right? We have the federal funds rate decision. We have the Jerome Powell press conference. That is on Wednesday. So we'll obviously be aware of that this Wednesday for that FOMC. Thursday, GDP. And then Friday, PCE price index. So pretty much every day this week we have something. Today we have manufacturing services PMI. Tomorrow we have retail sales. Wednesday we have FOMC. Thursday we have GDP and unemployment claims. And Friday we have PCE price index. For you guys, I'll obviously remind you every day until the day. I am not going to be here Thursday and I am not going to be here Friday. I apologize, guys, but these 2 days you're going to have to head over to Mr. TB, Mr. Trade Brigade. I told them that expect the Desi crew on Thursday, Friday. I am going to be away with family here, enjoying the holiday season. Going to go ahead and take a little break here on Thursday, Friday, and then my birthday is on Monday. So, yeah, going to take a few days off. Enjoy the last few days of 2024, Jesus. And then just sort of refresh into the 2025 trading year. So that's that. Just a little heads up. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we will be here. We will be full steam ahead. Thursday, Friday this week, you're going to have to head over to TB. Does a great job. Hopefully he's here too. I don't know if he's taken off any time, but yeah, Thursday, Friday this week, heading over to Mr. TB, Mr. Trade Brigade. So that's that. Earnings calendar. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. I appreciate that, guys. Very, very thankful for all the support that we get here. Earnings calendar. Not really too much to focus on until I'd say Wednesday. Micron, Lennar, who built the house I'm in. Pretty cookie cutter house. Can't say too many good things about this house on Lennar's part, but that's what Lennar does. You know, they don't really have the custom side of their building, but hey, whenever I see it, I'm like, oh, piece of shit. It's still a beautiful house, but Lennar definitely cuts some corners in terms of finishes. That's definitely a true fact there. But Micron Wednesday, steel case. I like steel case because I have my Steel Series headset. I think Steel Series is at the top of the game. I think that's the same company. Steel case, Steel Series. Let me make sure. It looks the same. It's the same, right? Steel case, Steel Series. Is it the same? Maybe not. Is it not? Is Steel Series the same? Let me see here. No, it might not be the same, actually. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. Does anyone know? Is that the same? Oh, so it's not. Okay. I take that back. It looks the exact same. The logo looks identical. All right, so Steelcase is office furniture. See it. I see it. Okay, so never mind. Forget that. Different company. If Steel Series was a public company, then I would like them. Anyways, Micron, Lennar, Accenture, Darden Restaurants, Nike, FedEx, and that's about it, guys. That's about it. All right, that's that. I'd say the only one I'm really interested in is to see how Micron affects the semiconductors. That's really about it. Okay? All right, let's get started. Futures, new levels, but same sort of structure points. Let's go ahead and zoom out here on the NASDAQ, and let's take a look at this. I think a quite beautiful structure that's going on in this market still, guys. There really is no reason to think that there is bearish action coming in here on the NASDAQ futures. This still looks beautiful in terms of structure. Here is your major golden low, right, and this new 21.9 low. What I'm going to start doing on my charts, I think is a sort of a new thing I'm going to adopt, is I'm going to create sort of these golden zones that will be like the biggest and best pullback areas. And then the green levels that I create will be like sort of that intermediary short-term levels that can still be very nice, right, and still very valid. But I want to make sure I know where those big golden zones are, those big retest levels are. And so that's what I've started to do here on the NASDAQ futures. You can clearly see how major the 21.7 is, and we can now see how major the 21.9 is, right? So we had our very clear structure here, and we have this very clear structure here, right? We have two very clear structures between these two golden zones, right? We have all of this, right? And then we have all of this. And that is above the 21.9, and that is above the 21.7. So those are going to be like the big zones, right? And we talked about this zone last week. We talked about the 21.9, which is really, I believe, last week was 21.7, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, there's a change here on the futures, the contract roll, but 21.9, beautiful. 21.7, beautiful today. Let's make sure to pay attention to those two. For you guys that are going to keep talking in the chat about your contracts not being the same, it's because of the March 2025 contracts. We are on the March 2025 contracts. This is a rollover. You have to pay attention. Oop, don't want that. This is a contract rollover, March 2025 contracts. So 21.9, 21.7, two major pullback levels I would watch if we do ever come back to those, right? Those are the big boys. Okay. Now, if we zoom in a little bit onto the 30-minute time frame, we can sort of take a look at some of the shorter-term levels. Now, these shorter-term levels are pretty clear as well. We have this low here from Wednesday. We have these lows from Thursday. And we have this exact low from Friday. I mean, it is beautiful here. 21.970, 21.970, and 21.970. Very nice level there. That is a triple bottom low from last week. We had that little push down into 21.9, and then we had that Broadcom earnings, right? So we had that 21.9 test, that golden test, right, into Thursday night. We had Broadcom earnings gapping the market up, and we've seen that new low form at 21.970. Very, very nice, right? 21.970. Now, above that, we have these previous highs at 22,070, 22,070, and we can see Friday close into the pre-market today, right? Look how beautiful that 22,070 level has held as a new low. Very clear, right? Look how beautiful that is. So, again, very clean. 21,970, 22,070, two very clear levels here. Here's your lows, right? Very clear established lows. Previous highs, into lows. Beautiful, right? Beautiful. So, next, above that, right? And we're just sort of moving higher as we get this price action higher. What's next? 22,120. Previous highs, rejection highs, and we are above that level today. So, we have these very clear levels, right? We pull back to 22,120 today. That's our potential long spot. We pull back to 22,070 today. That's our potential long spot. Right here are our next two spots to be paying attention to. If we do get a little slippage, let's see what happens at those levels today, right? Very, very nice. 22,070, 22,120. If we break under this 22,070, I think you will see maybe a little bit of slippage. This might be a little bit of a short opportunity if you are looking for downside today. This would be probably the only place I'd look for that short opportunity, right? Underneath 22,070, you might be able to get a little bit of volatility, right, back down towards that 21,970. The reason I say that is because this is pretty much just a straight up, straight down move. This is a nice rejection here, right? So you can see once we fail under 22,070, we do get, right, a little bit of downside continuation. So if you want to look short today, I would not look short anywhere besides under 22,070 on maybe just a little scalp short into our major triple bottom lows. This would be the only short I would consider in the current market environment. And once again, that is just a scalp, because if you take that short and you hold too long, you're going to start being long into a major triple bottom low, which could very well take you out, right? So 22,120, 22,070, 21,970, and if we zoom out here, it is still a beautiful and fantastic hold over the previous highs from last Tuesday, which turned into a perfect low here around 21,900. That is a perfect break and retest long. I mean, once again, it sets up perfectly. Look at that. Previous rejections, breakout, retest after straight up, right? Give us some pullback, give back some of this straight up move, find that next level, and bam, it's gorgeous. So, really nice. Pullback longs absolutely still valid. Nothing has changed here. Continue to look for the pullback longs. First levels to watch today, 22,120, 20,070, 21,970, and 21,900. Okay, beautiful levels there. Let's move on. QQQ, same shit. Absolutely gorgeous stuff here in the QQQ. Structure looks incredible. Right here, right? Previous highs, right in here, right? Previous highs. Look at that hold there on Thursday of last week. Gorgeous hold, 526. What a beautiful hold that was. Now, let's go ahead and go down to the 15-minute chart. Let's get some short-term levels here above that 526 retest hold. Above 526, we can see this 527.50, some of this 527.50 noise there from Thursday, and then look at the lows from Friday. The exact level of 527.50. This was one of our pullback levels from the Friday pre-market live stream, and you can see how perfectly that held. 527.50, that's a new low to pay attention to. Now, above that, 529, and the key break on Friday was 529. Why is that, right? Previous lows, very clear rejections on Thursday. See this? See those rejections on Thursday at 529? You can also see on the 5-minute chart on Friday the 529 rejections that came in intraday, right? So 529, key rejections intraday that kept us lower for majority of the afternoon. But eventually on Friday, you got that break over 529, and look at how key, and look at the reaction post-breakout, of 529, right? Look what happened after this break and hold above this level on Friday afternoon. After you got above 529, after you held above it, look at the continuation that came in. So, beautiful reclaim and hold over 529 there, setting up that next upside continuation move. So that was on Friday. You got up into this high right here, which was 530.50. And guess what now? 530.50 turning into lows, right? Just a incredible previous rejection into new lows type move here. Stair-stepping upside move. Here's a low, and here's trying to become a new low. These are beautiful higher lows forming on the QQQ and on the NASDAQ futures. So today, what are you looking for? Today, you're looking for pullbacks to 530.50. That would be a gorgeous pullback opportunity if we can get it. Back to these previous highs, back to these highs from Friday, back to some of these pre-market lows. Bring us back down to that level. Find us a nice long opportunity. That would be beautiful if we can get that. Under 530.50, you have that very clear 529 level. Below that, you have a very clear 527.50 level. And below that, you're back in the golden zone at 526. Okay? Beautiful levels here. If we get pullbacks, trust them. Look for these levels to turn into new longs if we do get pullbacks. I don't really like that we're going straight up here in the pre-market on the Qs, because if there's one thing I have seen here on the market, guys, is that it really has not enjoyed gap ups. Gap ups have been hard to trade. Gap ups create that downside move. And so, to be honest, if I was, looking from the outside in and I didn't have a position, right, and I wanted to find a new long, I would really wait until we pull back to this 530.50 today. You probably don't want to be that long on this gap up that we're getting right now. I think a pullback is very possible. One of these is very possible, right? And so The reason that you've got to be cautious longing a gap up is because if this comes in, it is still very bullish. And the question is, how much are you down on this pullback, right? If you are long here, how much are you going to be down on a pullback into 530.50? What is your drawdown here, right? And the problem is, the problem with that drawdown, right? The problem with this drawdown is you really can exit the long. Because if you take a long here and then exit in this drawdown, you are taking a loss in a extremely bullish pullback opportunity, right? And that hurts, right? That really hurts. It really hurts to long overextended, be in drawdown as we pull back, and then exit that position because of drawdown, which ends up turning into, in my opinion, the best long of the day, which is at 530.50. So try to pay attention to what's going on here. Try to be careful on the gap ups. You really want those nice and cozy long entries at key levels. This is really that cozy long entry today at 530.50 if we can get it. I don't know if we will, but that's really the spot you want. That is the same thing as the NASDAQ futures 22,120, all right here. 22,120, 22,120. That was really the best long you want, and that was the long from the pre-market today, right? See this? In the pre-market today on the future side, look at the long right here, above 22,120, and then this little retest right here. This was your long entry, all right? Your long set up right in here. And then this is sort of the result of that long right now. So you'd really like to get another one down here, right? Another entry down here to really feel comfortable. Yeah. That's just the honest truth. Now, can we maybe see a break and hold over this all-time high to find that next long? Maybe, right? 22,209.50, right? Could we just wait for that and maybe we just get a long over that? Maybe, right? Maybe. That's possible. Just watch out for this high as we approach it, right? 22,209.50. That is the all-time high here on the NASDAQ futures. And maybe you could look for, one of these right here. Maybe you look for one of these today, and then you long it above this previous high. That's possible. But what I'd rather see is one of these and then one of those. Okay? That's just the honest truth. We'll see if that happens. S&P 500. An interesting little 4-hour chart here. I'm not going to lie. A little cheeky 4-hour flag, in my opinion. Look at this right here. This is interesting, guys. And guess what has happened, my friends? Guess what has happened, which is exactly something that we talk about here on this live stream at all times. There are two things that happen in the market, guys. There is a time correction, right? There is a time correction. I'm going to go ahead and go TC. I'm going to try to do that a little bit cleaner. TC or a PC, right? Time correction or a price correction. When the market sort of goes straight up, there is either a time correction or a price correction. And in my opinion, what you're seeing right now is a time correction. And a time correction typically is, characterized by straight up move and then a couple weeks or a couple days of sideways to slightly lower consolidation, right? That's a time correction. A price correction is straight up and then, straight back down. The price corrects back to a, important support level. And so what I think you're seeing right now is a time correction, allowing the daily 20 SMA to catch up every single day, right? Because every day that the ES trades sideways here, the daily 20 SMA is catching up every single day, just inching higher into price, right? So you can see that daily 20 is inching up every day into the price action. And that, my friends, in my opinion, is a time correction on this ES. You have held perfectly above these previous highs. Perfectly above these previous highs. 1, 2, and now 3 times, right? Look at how beautiful these previous rejection points are holding as new lows. That is sexy. I mean, that is just pure sexiness in my eyes. And on top of that, you now have the daily 20 SMA pretty much right under price action. And this is the moment in time right here, right? When you match the demand and the daily 20, that is typically the moment in time that the next leg comes in, right? And you can see that I'm not bullshitting you. That is exactly what has happened multiple times. And the best example here is right here. Right here is the best example of that. Look at how beautiful this right here occurred at 5,800 on the ES. Right here. You have previous major highs. And this is probably because the contract changed that this is off. I'm pretty sure this is where, it's because of the contract. This is supposed to be here. I didn't adjust this chart yet for the contract change. But this was your 5,800, right? See that? Look what happened here, guys. You got straight up movement, okay? You got previous highs right here. You got a little bit of downside, but overall, I'd say consolidation. And when that ES separated from the daily 20 right here, see how that daily 20 started to fall behind? See how it started to catch up here while the price action stayed sideways, right? Look at that. And when those two met right there, bam, right? That's your explosion point. And that is, I think, exactly what is happening right now. Once again, right? It's the same thing again. You have previous highs, breakout, divergence from the daily 20, catching up to price action, a little bit of time correction, right? 20 SMA. This could be a little sexy 4-hour flag here that I would be very much paying attention to here, guys. So, looks very nice on the ES. I'm going to try not to get ahead of myself, but man, does that look like a nice setup right now. So, pay attention to this ES low. Pay attention to this 6120 demand that continues to step up here on the S&P 500 futures. Look at that right there. 6110, 6120 zone. All right. 6110, 6120. It's a little bit of a zone for me. I'm going to go ahead and put that at 20 and then put the next level at 10. It's a 10-point zone for me right now between 6120 and 6110. Okay? So that's that. That's your major low that I would continue to watch. That is these previous highs, right, that are turning into lows right now. Now, in the short term, there are still some levels that we need to break over to really trust that this is going to get a move higher, right? There are some levels that I would be paying attention to trust whether the move higher is coming or not. For now, you can see that the clear demand lows are stepping in very strong as that daily 20 SMA catches up. The upside moves that we need to break over today, the upside levels, first one is 6150. It's very clear, 6150, 6150. We got to get above that 6150 today. So that's number one, right? That's must break level number one is 6150. If we reject here today, we can move right back down lower, right? Very clear. 6150 must break level. If we do not and we see rejections, watch for that fade once again. Above 6150 is the biggest level in my opinion, and that is 6160. 6160 is Thursday's rejection and the perfect, and I mean perfect rejection from Friday early morning on the S&P 500. This was 507, I believe, or 607 on the SPY. Yep. This was our red alert. If you guys are part of the Discord, you guys remember on Friday we were screaming, red alert, right? Red alert. This is the red alert level. And what a fade off that level all day Friday. So this is your red alert. This is your much break. This is 6160 on the ES. If we cannot break that and we reject this again, another potential fade spot on the ES. So 6150, 6160. This is a zone that I think has to break. The buyers must get through these two levels. If we do not, be aware of these two fades today, please. Over 6160, I think you have a date with all-time highs, okay? Over 6160, I think you have a very, very sort of obvious date, in my opinion, to all-time highs, okay? So look for 6160. A break and hold above that, I think you'll get your 6180 all-time high push, all right? Very clear levels there on the ES to pay attention to. SPY, another cheeky little flag here. If we go out to the 4-hour chart, take a look at this little consolidation on the SPY over that 600. We haven't quite gotten back to that 600, but look at where that daily 20 SMA is now. That daily 20 is right at 600, and any pullback to that 600 in daily 20 might be that really interesting long opportunity if we get it. For now, we are not back at that level quite yet, and we can talk about the levels that are holding prior to that major retest down there at 600. For now, it looks to be this low, and this low. This 602.50 holding very strong on the SPY ETF. The levels that we need to break, or really the level that we need to break, is the red alert level from Friday, and that is 607. This is a big boy. This is a rejection here, Friday, a rejection from Thursday. Bam, bam. We need to get over that today. If we see another failure at 607, this is going to fail again, probably aggressively too, right? Because this is, guess what? Guess what, guys? Problem here, right, is everything from this point, 604, is a gap up. This is all gap up right here from 604, right? 604 to where we are now is pure gap up. And the problem with that is that if we get another smackdown at 607, you might need to fill the gap, right? Or come back down to major demand. And that could really just sort of delay and frustrate a lot of bulls today and probably get a lot of people on the wrong side if that does happen again. Watch 607, please. That is a must-break level today. Please be careful of those rejections. That is exactly what everyone was horned up for on Friday. And bam, rejection, right? Another big breakdown. So if you can get over 607 and hold above it, it's a good step in the right direction for that upside continuation. Of course, you still need to be aware of the highs, which is 608, 608.50, right? You still have that very clear bam, 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 triple top, quadruple top at this major supply high. That's still there. So that's something to still pay attention to. But I think a flip above 607 could be the catalyst that says, all right, we're going to try to break out to new highs. That would be a must hold at that point, right? If we can turn that 607 into support, then that's, where I think you can say, all right, I'm going to be cautious of the supply highs, but I like what the SPY's doing to try to facilitate that next move higher. Okay? That's how I would think of that. All right, IWM, not quite as strong as obviously as the ES and NQ, but I do like the IWM coming back into some key levels. There are some very nice levels to pay attention to here, and really, the best level out of all of them is still going to be our 227 retest, right? Remember this? Previous highs, previous highs, previous highs, break, retest, long. If we get another retest to that level, that might be your best long spot, right? Right here. This is probably your best long spot around that 227 on the IWM. Now, some levels above that I would pay attention to if the IWM wants to make a higher low, and that sets up right here. 230.250 is number one, and then the second one I'd really pay attention to is 230. I don't mind those two retest longs to pay attention to here. 230.250 and 230 are your two, I'd say, levels to pay attention to on this pullback, and then you'll have your 227 below. The level that I would want to see the IWM breakthrough, right, to really trust that there is upside continuation is 236 right here. Failure, failure. I think you got to get over that 236 and possibly that daily 20, or you might just start to see this, right? So 236, that's your big supply high. Watch 230.250. Watch 230, all right? Dow Jones. Oh, okay, this is just a... Is this a... Yeah, this is just a contract change on the Dow Jones. Do I have this adjust for contract change? I do. All right, so I don't think that's not a legitimate gap on the Dow. It looks like TOS has not adjusted this Dow contract. Sort of strange here. Haven't looked at this yet today, but we can still use these levels as a guide. I would watch this 44,300 here on the Dow Jones today. See this? 44.3, 44.3. That's a previous high from Thursday. If we can hold above Thursday's highs on the Dow, you might get a little bit more continuation. Watch out for that 44,530. Okay? But it looks like this Dow has not adjusted. Something's off here on the Dow for me. I have adjust for contract chain clicked. Dow, let me go to Z24. Yeah, the Z24 is the right. See, it really hasn't moved anywhere, this Dow. You can see right there. So I'm going to move on from the Dow. Something's off. Hold on. I got to sneeze. Excuse me. Let's go to the SMH. Man, oh man, right? It's starting to show. Is that MRVL going? Man, MRVL is a sexy little stock. Yeah. We longed this one on Friday. Really nice longs off that 116. I took profits on it. Do I regret it? Maybe a little bit. But a beautiful $9,000 profit on MRVL Friday. I couldn't let that go. So really nice profit there. Let's look to see if we can get into this one again. MRVL, man, might be something to pay attention to. It's a little bit of a underappreciated semi, I'd say. It's not so much in the limelight, right? It's not really like that most popular semi that a lot of people watch. So I would be paying attention to this one. I bought shares on Friday as well. I bought quite a bit of shares, actually. I think I bought, what did I buy? I think I talked to you guys. I bought like $50,000 worth. I'll pull it up right now, and then we'll move on. Let's go to that once we get into MRVL. But yeah, I think this is one you want to start paying attention to, by the way. Now, what's happening, guys? I'm going to say it. I still think our SMH long idea is valid. I still see it. I still think it's right. I still don't see a problem with this play. And I still really want to be long semiconductors. It's been a little bit of a choppy and sort of difficult trade, but we've talked about that daily 200 SMA being the spot you want to long, right? That's where you want your long exposure, at that 200 SMA. And look at it again, right? 200 SMA, 200 SMA, 200 SMA. And this time around, this looks like one that can actually get going because guess what? You have major semiconductor action coming in. Obviously, besides NVIDIA, and maybe we need NVIDIA to really get this thing going. But this looks very, very interesting. 200 SMA again on the SMH. Looking fantastic, right? Another nice hold. What has to happen here to really get this continuation? Right here, guys. This is what I would look at today. This is what I would look to see if it maintains, to trust whether this is going to continue higher. And so for now, I really like the holds over the 249.50 and the 50 SMA. I think that is very valid. You can see that hold there. You can see that previous high. You can see those previous highs. That is a very nice hold above on the SMH. If we can maintain above 249.50, that is a very good continuation to look for. Pullbacks on Friday were great, right back to the retest of 247, right? We had a straight up move. We had a straight down retest. 247 held beautifully, right? Look at that. 247, 247. Look at that 247 hold on the SMH. Very nice higher low. What else happened throughout last week? We had a low form on Tuesday at the 200. We had a higher low form on Wednesday and Thursday at the 100. And we had a higher low form on Friday at the 247 and above the daily 20 SMA. So we are stair-stepping here and creating higher lows right now. And if we maintain above this 249.50 and we continue to see some strength stay in those semiconductor stocks, man, I like this, right? I like this. So let's pay attention to it. 254, that's your next major supply high. That's where I would be cautious of that next rejection. 254, 253 zone, that's right here. All right, you can see the next rejection comes in around this 253, 254, and then above that, right here at 257, all right? 257, okay? Look for those levels today to pay attention to. All right. That's that. We got 29. Oh, we got 1,000 likes. Look at that. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel, guys. We're about to jump into some individual equities, some stocks. And here we go. So let's go to Tesla. Teslita. So still holding my Tesla longs. And we talked about this on the live stream. As long as you're over the previous all-time high, there is no reason to exit Tesla longs. That was previously here, right, at 414.50, which was very nice, right? 414.50, previous all-time highs. We held it on Thursday. Guess what? We held it again on Friday. Beautiful washout long on Friday, right off that level. It was sick to watch. Congrats to anyone that got aggressive on that pullback on Friday. Beautiful. 414.50, beautiful hold, structured hold, previous all-time highs. Now, what's the next level? Next level looks to be 430 to 431, right? Previous highs, we're above that level. So now, what do? You do the same exact thing. Before, you stayed long above 414.50. Now, you're staying long above 430, right? And if Tesla pulls back to 430, that's a nice long opportunity, right? So you're just trusting the structure. You have to trust the structure. You have to trust this analysis if you're going to extend this win. So that's what I'm doing, right? So as long as Tesla's over this 429.50, 430 level, I'm staying long Tesla, and I'm going to look for those pullbacks as new long opportunities. So going to watch this very major demand here at 429.50, 430 area. There are some short-term levels you can pay attention to today to try to find a better entry. You can pay attention to this 434, and you can pay attention to this 436. Those are two short-term levels you could watch today to see if there is any opportunity or pullback longs that come in. You can see right here that previous high there at 436 is definitely holding here in the pre-market. That could be an interesting long spot today. Below that, you have this high from Friday around 434. That could be an interesting long spot. And then I think the best long spot is right here between 431 and 430. As long as we're above this zone right here, I am staying long Tesla. Okay? Very, very nice. NVIDIA. We're getting a little bit upside on NVIDIA. So, guys, first of all, the only thing I can explain as to why this is underperforming, I think has to be some type of rebalancing. This is sort of what we've been talking about with the group. We've been sort of just brainstorming as to what's possibly happening here, right? Because it's important to understand. But I think it's a rebalancing move, right? Everyone and their moms owns NVIDIA. Every fund out there likely owns NVIDIA. And maybe there's some end-of-year rebalancing going on here. I think that is the most explainable, most obvious, or most understandable explanation, and sort of, I think, the most logical explanation for it, without bringing in all the, without bringing all the nonsense into it. Oh, NVIDIA's shit. It's a terrible stock. That's not why. I think it's some kind of a rebalancing. You're seeing that underperformance. You're seeing that selling, that heavy selling that's coming into the stock. But I really don't see this breaking down, right? I think what a lot of people are totally failing to understand is that they're so focused on this head and shoulder formation up here, and they're not focused on the sector as a whole. I do not believe you are going to see NVIDIA fail a major head and shoulder move, right? If the SMH is strong. I don't think you're going to see that. You are not going to see NVIDIA crush to the downside if this SMH is strong, if Broadcom's strong, if TSM is strong, if MU wakes up, right? If these semiconductors work and this SMH goes higher, NVIDIA is not going to just break down a head and shoulder formation. That is my opinion, right? So I think a lot of people that are thinking this is a head and shoulder are getting worked up into a fake breakdown. It's definitely weak in the short term, and I will say that because, guys, I've lost money doing this, right? So I'm the first person to tell you how this price action is. I know it's weak. I'm not delusional. I definitely see the weakness on a daily basis. It's frustrating. I've lost about $30,000, $40,000 trying to stay long NVIDIA, right? But I do not believe, and I still do not believe, that this is going to break down a head and shoulder formation if that SMH is weak or strong. If the SMH flips weak again and you see breakdowns on semiconductors, then, right, then I would then definitely anticipate some breakdown action on the NVIDIA, right? So we'll see. I don't want to make any bold claims here, but that is something I would pay attention to. If you're shorting this thing for a head and shoulder breakdown, I would make sure you're paying attention to what the SMH is doing, okay? I would make sure you know if the SMH is strong or weak. I think you're going to need semiconductor weakness for this to actually break down, right? That's what I think you're going to have to see, okay? So for now, NVIDIA, once again, guess what? Is at if you're paying attention to risk reward, if you're paying attention to levels, well, guess what? NVIDIA is at the best level for upside. Okay, all right. It's if you're instead of playing the I hope NVIDIA breaks this low game, which is a dangerous game to play, right? Unless you want to play that game where you're like, oh, I hope it breaks the lows this time. If you want to play that game, sure, but I'm never going to play that game. That's not the risk reward. That's not the probability game. It might happen at certain points, right? Maybe 2 out of 10 times you're going to get the breakdown. You're going to get it to break this quadruple low, and there's going to be downside. But in the long term, guess what? Probabilities always wins, okay? And so the probabilities at this point, right? Not saying it's going to happen. That's what trading is. Trading is taking calculated risks that could work, say, 60% of the time, that don't work 40% of the time. But if you're on the right side 60% of the time, guess what? You're going to be profitable. So the probabilities here say, right, holds, and you're right back at it. So are you going, is this the side of, history again? Or is this the time that it breaks down 1 out of 4 times, right? That is something we are yet to see. But this is why I've continued to hold some type of NVIDIA exposure to make sure I see out whether this is the next major hold that everyone's so focused on the head and shoulder breakdown. All the shorts come into this that get squeezed out, right? That is something I still want to see out, right? And I have positioned myself correctly to withstand some drawdown and to be comfortable watching what happens here. So that's my game plan. We'll see what happens. I would definitely pay attention to this zone, and I would be careful being too infatuated by this head and shoulder if the market is going higher, right? If the market was going lower and there was very clear weakness on the entire tech sector, then I would say, let's nail this head and shoulder. But if that market's going higher, I would be very careful being infatuated by the head and shoulder while NVIDIA is still really in a very nice uptrending move, okay? Pay attention to it. That uptrending move looks very similar, by the way. Let me go ahead and get this. That uptrending move looks very similar to this Broadcom consolidation, right? Take a look at this. Take a look at this on Broadcom. See this weekly on Broadcom? See sort of this general uptrend? You could either draw it there or draw it something along these lines here, right? See this uptrend on Broadcom over the last, call it year that led to this breakout? Take a look at this on NVIDIA. Pretty damn similar, no? Right? See this? Look at this weekly uptrend on NVIDIA. You have a weekly uptrend on NVIDIA for the last year with a little, retracement right now. Look at Broadcom. Little retracement. Boom. Right? Very similar. Very similar. So, do I think Broadcom is going to do this on this weekly and NVIDIA do this? Maybe, but I can't see it. Not quite yet. I can't see it quite yet. I can't get my mind to wrap around that idea quite yet. We shall see. All right? Broadcom, a monster. Just a true monster. A true monster right now. It's in full-on momentum mode, right? You got to just play it off these short-term levels right now. So, what are some short-term levels? 225, 220, pullbacks to 210, pullbacks to 204. Any of these levels could be pullback levels to watch out for. Today, the first one would be 225. If you can get a pullback to 225, watch that hold. Under that, watch 220. That's Friday's little high here from early morning. Watch that 220 pullback as well. 225, 220, 2 levels to watch there. MRVL. Beautiful little hourly structure here on MRVL. I would be very much paying attention to this. Some pullback levels to pay attention to. Number 1, 118. Previous highs right here. And 116, I think, are your 2 favorite. 116 is that previous high that we longed off of on Friday. Now, intraday today, there is a zone to be paying attention to, and that is between 121 and 122. Right here. 121, 122. This zone here from Friday, these highs, look to see if that holds right there. 121, 122, pay attention to that. I like 118. I like 116. Look to see if those pullbacks come in. TSM, beautiful upside continuation and just a gorgeous hold on TSM. Look at this hold at 190. This was something we talked about on Friday, and man, did that play out. Boom, boom, right? Break, retest, double bottom low. Look at that sexy move. Right off the 20, right off the 50. Man, is that gorgeous on TSM. Previous lows, previous highs. Here's your lows. Look at how gorgeous that level holds again. That is so clean. Now, you're moving up into that 206 supply, 206 supply, 206 supply, 206 supply. Careful up at 206. The boys that said, trust me, bro, it's different this time, at 206 last time, got smacked in the ass, right? So be careful being long at 206 again and trading the trust me, bro, it's different trade, right? Because look what happened last time as this was going vertically higher into 206. Bam, right back to 190. Right off that same level, right off that same level. So be careful at the same exact level that rejected last time at 206. It's got to get above it. What I would look for if you want to try to get some risk reward on the long into 206 is I would look for pullbacks, right? First pullback you look for, 200, 196. 200, 196 are your two pullbacks into 205, right? 205. All right. MU has earnings this week, so a little bit careful on that. Is Broadcom showing you what's going to happen on MU earnings? Possibly, right? I'm sure a lot of people are going to think that. It's very possible as well. If MU stays over 105, this probably goes to 109, okay? Watch the hold over 105 today. That will be key. ASML, still a consolidation here. Still a little bit weak on the side of, the semiconductors. I would just, again, set an alert right here over 734 and see if that can break above. ARM is the last semiconductor we're going to talk about. Holy shit, did that hold 150? Oh, my God. ARM is the last one I'm going to talk about. You guys can see right here. Look how beautiful that previous double top high at 150 is. Look how well it held on Friday. And look at the hold here in the pre-market. 150 is a nice level right there. If you can catch a long off that, I'd pay attention. Or a pullback to 145. Both spots look great for ARM. 145, 150. Pay attention to those two spots. Upside supply comes in at 158. Okay, let's go speed around through some individual equities. Meta is the first one I want to speed around into. You guys can see right here. Meta, a little bit of a 4-hour flag setting up. Quite interesting, right? And if Meta can hold over this 625, take a look at this flag breakout that could be forming here. Previous highs, previous highs, previous highs. Previous lows. If we can hold above 625 today, this is a very interesting breakout potential on Meta. I would watch that 625 today on Meta. Very nice watch right there on Meta. Google is the other one I'd be paying attention to. Google has given you a nice consolidation lower, right? A nice little structured pullback. No kind of major panic downside, just a nice structured pullback into this previous 190 level. If Google can find strength again over this 194.50 today, you can see I have my alert set, right? If you can get a nice hold above this level right here today, I would absolutely be paying attention to see if Google can start that leg higher again. Very nice structured pullback on Google, right into that 192.50. Watch the 194.50 today. All right, guys, that's it. If you guys want more analysis, join the Discord, join Technicals Only. Check out the links down below. But I got to head out of here. It's 8:53. Got to head over to the group. Guess what? NASDAQ right at the 22,210. That's the highs there. Be careful there. And guess where? Let's see where the ES is at. ES approaching the 6150. We got to get above this 6150 today. That is a must break on the ES. Pay attention to it. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the analysis. If you did, press that like button for me. Please subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.